Hi folks, welcome back to TIMBERBORN. There has maybe been a little bit of a break because I've been quite focused on Farm Sim, because Farm Sim has a new expansion out. Now TIMBERBORN has version 1.0 out, I know, and no, I've not been ignoring it. I've been working through the dilemma of what do we do for content wise on 1.0, and having done the community post, I think the consensus is we finish the Iron Teeth series, which is 1 or 2 videos away from completion, and then I'll start a new series. Now that's the benefit of that is the 1.0 experimental branch is having quite a few hot fixes, so hopefully by the time I get to playing it, it's going to be a bit more stable. This LEAFCOATS mod has had a couple of updates. This guy now gives the roof bonus, as does all of the other tops of trees. A few changes to some of the balance stuff, and also we have a platform with ladder in the middle, which I think is a really cool addition. So yeah, good stuff bobbing about. We are partway through a bad tide. And last time we were trying to get up here to fix the last of the sources of contamination into the pool, and we kept running into the issue that we're relying on a path that goes through here, and every time we get close we can't make it. So I do think that I'm going to... That's a open spot. So what we could do is from there put in a ladder, put in a triple platform, put in another ladder, get some paths in. That gets us to there. Throw in a few... Actually, we don't need to throw in a few platforms. We could put a platform there. We can put a ladder there, because that's okay height-wise, I think. So we'll do that. We'll come along here to there. Then we'll put a platform there and there. And we'll build a mini bridge. A little baby bridge. Actually, we can't put a bridge there, can we? Because we would need another one. So we might as well just put platforms across there. Like that. Just like that. And that'll reconnect us. So let's unpause, get the game progressing. Yeah, that will reconnect us through there, across there, to there, and there. Doesn't get us all the way sorted, but it's a lot of the way there. If we look at this guy, so this, I think we'll be okay if we block this. He says, famous last words. And we could always... We're going to be affecting the falling, I guess. But I need to be able to put in some sluice gates around these. Now, actually, we could go there, there, across there, and that would work. So maybe we'll be okay. Maybe we will be okay. Everything over here is growing, So, and none of these are going to need to be replanted in theory. So you can go. We've got our 2 gatherer flags there. You need to be a tapper's shack. There we go. Yeah, they can now get back across here. That's finished now, so that can go in. We can start sorting this out. Now I'm just wondering, that can be enough? I guess it has to be. We can put 3 sluices in, can't we? But we've got a source there as well. Should work. Should work. So we also want to loosen terrain there. I've only got 0.6 of a day to go, so we might not want to actually take this out at this point because, you know, the damage has been done, as we can see over here with the 6% contamination. Now, the other thing that we need to look at is this guy. We don't want that set. What we want to do is... What do we want to do? This is set advanced. This is set to work off of contamination. But we also want to disable during a drought, and then in basic, when a drought starts, close. When a drought ends, we'll set it to 0.45. This guy, I think we just have it set to run. Maybe we have it set to be quite low as the default. And then we've got this going in. For some reason you're paused because I forgot to tick that box. Thank you for the person that told me about that, which means a bunch of our stuff is drying out, but that'll come back now. I was going to say we need to get water in here, but we've got water there, so that's okay. And the bad tide has ended. So while the bad tide is over, what we can do is... I need to get rid of this tree. So what I'm going to do is we've got access to there. So if we do... Slightly wasteful, I know, but we do that. That gets us to that. If we do... not unlocked the overhangs yet. We've got some science, so let's do that. And then we're going to delete you. I guess we could demolish that one and that one in preparation. So it doesn't have any effect. This is a mess, and we'll deal with this later. These need replacing, essentially. These should be floodgates, not sluices. problem. Right, so those are in. So if we were to build... that's not going to work because that ladder's there, so... Let's put another platform in there. Let's move the ladder to there. That should work, and we'll even give them a path. Then if we put a sluice there, there, and there, I'm not sure how well that's gonna work, but it kind of needs to. But being butted right up against the water sources might not be great. And then we're going to put sluices there, there. And again, I don't know how well that's going to work. Because I'm just not sure. We might need to put a sluice here, but I'm not sure how the water coming out of this one's going to fare. Whether it's just going to flow over the top, we'll see. Well, so we can always move, raise the height of this a little bit to give us room to work. There are always options, folks. What I will do to help is I'm going to put some platforms across the back there as well. And hopefully this will all clean up nice and quick. So this is sped up. Did I say the grapes have been improved? So they now grow a bit quicker, which is cool. I'm not sure we need all of these now, so we'll pause a couple of those because that will free up some of the beavers. There was some concern as to whether this works. Doesn't look... there we go. So that seems to have sorted it. It didn't look like it did, and it maybe wasn't, but now it appears to be, so that's good. Can have some die off by the looks of it here, but I want to focus on trying to get this sorted in case we get another bad tide. So hopefully this is getting built. They possibly can't get to... Oh no, they have. Cool. Yeah, so they've built the platform that it sits on, so should be able to build everything. He says confidently. That's in. I don't want to delete these yet until we have either a drought or a bad tide, really. So down here, oh, look at that, look at that. This is still spewing contamination. But hopefully in the future it won't be. We're just going to make sure that's all off for now. And these are going to close above. Yeah, 5% is probably fine. And then I wonder if just putting the 2 there will be enough. Because the problem is that we're expecting water to go in the side of them. And I don't know if it does. I mean, the water will go out of those. I guess the alternative is we raise this up and make ourselves space, but let's just put them in and try it, I guess. Some of you that know might know if this is going to fail already. Prioritize building that one because that will close this. And we are going to close below contamination 5%. Of course they built that one first. And they're probably going to go to bed now. No. Okay, cool. So, I mean, I guess we can test it, can't we? Because what we can do is we can open those, close those, and close those. And what happens? That seems to be working. Okay. And if we close those, it all goes horribly wrong. But that's fine. So back to auto, back to auto, back to auto. So it looks like we've got that sorted now. We'll find out shortly. The other thing we could do to help us out is we could come here now and we could put in a couple of floodgates here. Advanced, attached to stream gauge. And here. And what we're going to do, I bet they can't get to that one. No. Annoying. So we're going to have to delete that. We're going to have to put in... no. We're going to have to put in a platform. Let them build that one. So we'll do it on that one. We'll do attached to stream gauge. And which... let's use that one. 10%. Yeah, let's use that one. And what we're going to do is contamination thresholds. If the contamination is below 2%, it's open. If it is above 3%, it closes. And then we're going to come here and we're going to put that one back. And what I'm trying to do is force more water through this. I don't know if that's going to work necessarily. But we can try it, can't we? And this is a temporary thing. Because in theory, no more bad water will go in there. But and it's not quite enough to stop all of the flow. But what I'm hoping is that it means that more good is spewing out of here and into here, so that we are helping with the cleanup process. Right, other things we need to work on. This. You need to be open. You need to be closed. We could just change the logic on this. Because I think at the moment we have some basic logic set. So when drought starts, it shuts when drought ends. It opens a bit when bad tide starts. It opens when bad tide ends. We probably don't want that to do anything at the moment. We might want to have sluices here. So as the contamination goes up, these open. Oh, we've nearly got apples. We are away from chestnuts, and we are away from maples. How are we doing? So we need more storage, right? So let's look at putting more storage for the bark, branches and bark in. Let's put in some medium piles. Yep, in here. So we'll do a medium pile for, no, because they don't go in piles, do they? They go in warehouses. Branches. And then we need to level it off. I think using a block would be a bit wasteful, wouldn't it? Nope. Nope. We got anything single height we can put in there. I am actually thinking about just putting in a couple of blocks just to get it level. Then we can do that, and then we can do we go then for some large warehouses? And do one each of bark and branches. Right, apples are starting to come up, so let's get the gatherers going. They don't have any storage over here, but, you know, not a lot we can do about that. But yeah, we'll significantly increase the amount of storage and see how we get on there. The other thing that I meant to mention was Bobbing About had said that one of the changes he's made is that beavers that have the tree murderer debuff won't breed. So if you're having population issues, that could be a thing. So yeah. So it looks like we don't need those guys working. I'm wondering if we can expand. Have we got a hauling post? The hauling post is maxed out, so we've got some spare beavers at the moment. Okay, that's cool. Right. That all seems to be being okay. So just what we need to do now is get the contamination cleared out of here, and we can start getting back into stuff, start getting the food situation improved. And we'll start to see where we need more of different things. We need more logs. How are our... That's because none of our IKEA factories are set to make logs. And we could probably do with another one of those now. Then we can pause the plank production. So I think we could maybe do with starting to think about setting up another tree soon. But what we're going to have a look at next is this area. So let's put back in the ladder here. We're going to then come over here. And I'll leave these sluices here because that will let us... Actually, we've got the flat top floodgates. So we could actually just replace them, but I'll unlock those because that'll be useful. But we'll come in and we'll leave those, but we'll put those in. And I'm going to advanced attach to stream gauge. And we're going to attach those to down here. Not actually sure, or whether we just do it off of, if it's a bad tide, these open. Maybe we just need to watch and see how these behave. And for now, we want them closed. That might be what I need to do. Is just watch and see how things behave. We can... Do we get these deleted? There we go. Right. And now they can all go. I mean, in theory, maybe we want to push this all the way back out here. Is there another bad water source under there? Ah, no, it's the volcano from underneath, isn't it? Which at some point we will want to deal with. So this is now down at 2% contamination, so these will have opened up. As the island is improving. Right, what do we want to do next? I think we want to look to, if we improve our food supply, we can then start to think about improving the population, or expanding the population. So to do that, I guess this guy is working on some of that, but we probably need to put in another farming area. So, and it probably makes sense, possibly makes sense, to maybe do that down on here, on these terraces. We could farm this terrace area, couldn't we? Because we could spur off of this zip line and come down here. Yeah. So if I wanted to do that, let's think about how I would do it. First thing's going to be irrigation, isn't it? I think if we put the irrigation here, that should do quite a lot. Your paused, cool. We've got quite a lot of spare beavers now. not quite got chestnuts yet. So if we come in, clear a bunch of this out, and maybe we put in 2 irrigation pools and put in a big bit of farming, and then we can really expand. Yeah. So let's, and then maybe we'll get extract going. 3 by 3 there. So we need access to that. I'm sitting there looking at it thinking, well, why is nothing happening? And that would be because they can't reach it. And we'll get the irrigation in first, and then we'll think about everything else. I think so. Fancy apples. Why aren't we making fancy apples? Mangrove fruits, I guess. And this is now down at only 1% contamination, so you can come in and start grabbing those. You are going to come in and replant dead trees. Let's demolish that. Right, yeah, let's get this demolished, and then we can get some irrigation going. And if I put in another staircase over here, we can get some tree murder going on. Don't worry, YouTube, it's fine. It's just trees being cut down. Just to deal with pup. But yeah, I'm hoping we can get a big old area of farming going on. That would be very cool. Right. So now we delete all of that. That was a very loud firework. And then we'll put that there. We'll put a fluid dump there. Stream gauge. Path. And see how that does us for some irrigation. And I guess, well, we're in the middle of a drought, aren't we? So our contamination is not going to be improving. Still a little bit pink over here, but in future it shouldn't get worse. So, attached to stream gauge, Bosch, pause above, yep, that'll do, unpause below, yeah, that'll do. And one of the things that's going to be weird going when I do play version 1.0 will be no mods, no things like simple triggers. So, I mean, yeah, that's looking pretty cool for farmable area. I probably won't start going up, although we are going to have most of that irrigated by the looks of it. Because we're probably going to be looking at putting our other irrigation area in somewhere over here. We will need staircases to get access. So let's put those in. And I'm going to path them as well, just because somewhere about here looks roughly right. I'm not going to measure it. I'm going to guess it. If we have to put an extra irrigation thing in, it's fine. It's fine, folks. I'm not going for absolutely perfect. You should know that by now. Pathwise. Might do something sneaky pathwise. Set you to be demolished. We will bring a path over though, because I'm not sure if they can reach. Those guys, we'll let them clear the last of the trees they can get to. And then down here, I may have done this slightly wrong. But let's see what we can do. If I do... No, we want to do... No, because I need to come out on the path anyway, so... And we could just use one of those, couldn't we? Because they're way smaller. We could do... Yeah. Let's use one of those. And then what we're going to do is use one of these to be able to spur off of the zip line up here. There we go. Right. Demolish all of that. Come on. There we go. Drought is over. We ended with a good supply of stuff. What we don't have is many mangroves. But he can reach all of them. He just hasn't harvested them all, and we could do with more. So what we're going to start doing is let's start expanding this area now, and we'll overhang it as well. So do that. Why? Yeah, they can reach those. Let's encourage them. A little bit. We might want to move the lumberjacks as well. So we're much better off on food now, which is good. Oh, you've got yourself stuck, you dummy. There you go. So those guys are now done? Question mark? Yeah. Alright. So you can go. You, I guess, will be got to after they've done all of that, unless I tell them to do it as a lower priority. Right, and then we need some farms, don't we? But let's see how we end up with this stuff first. We've got a homeless beaver. That's no good. Oh no, it's probably the stranded one, isn't it? Yeah. Though we don't have any spare beds, so... But let's see if it goes away once this guy's free. Right. So yeah, what I was thinking of doing for the path thing is I'm going to do that, and then we're going to do that like that. And you go away. Yeah, that goes there. That connects to there. And then we do water, fluid dump. Like that. I guess that means we need more there because I didn't plan it very well. But, you know, it's just a few extra things. There we go. And we'll get that up and running. Let's put in our stream gauge as well. And we'll get all the irrigation in and we'll see how it looks before we put the farms in. I need to turn off the turning back on of these. Because I don't want those running. We don't need them anymore. We want to put in a couple more staircases, not ladders. So many fireworks tonight. I guess it is the Saturday before bonfire night in the UK, so, you know. But it's kind of annoying. Yeah, that's pretty stable. Obviously all of this died, which was annoying. But not a lot we can do about that. Advanced, attach to stream gauge. So pause above about 0.7, unpause below about 0.5. There we go. And we'll get to see how this all fills in. That looks pretty good, honestly. And we can delete this piece of path now. And we can maybe delete this piece of path. We'll leave the staircases. I know I put it in saying I wanted to connect them by a path, but I don't think we need that. And then what we need is some farmhouses. Why am I being slow? Ah, we don't have farmhouses, do we? I'm being slow. Right. What food do we want to grow? So, berries, apples, grapes, chestnuts, dandelions, mangroves. Okay. But all of our food actually comes from a forester. I remember that really. Let's do that. And let's do that. And that gets us pretty darn good coverage. And let's think about what we want to plant. So the top one is fermented chestnuts. For that we need maple syrup and chestnuts. We've we've got maple syrup. We've actually got maple syrup and chestnuts now, so we could start making that actually. I wonder if I can't sneak one under there now. Can I put one there? I can, and it gets power. Awesome. Fermented chestnuts. So we just need to get a path to it. There we go. Why does that... Oh no, it sorted itself out. Awesome. And what we could do is run that path that way as well. We need some storage for them, but that gives us a bit of storage. So we're now making those. But I guess if we want to make more, we need... Let's think. We should put pine trees and maple syrup and maple trees together. Not that I think we need more pine sap, but kind of seems like a sensible thing to do, doesn't it? So let's put in a stand of pine trees. I guess if I were to put a... Yeah, that's going to cover a big area there. Let's be ruthless. And then over here, because we've then got the gatherer flag, which is going to do basically everything else. So let's start with a fairly big patch of blueberries. Let's put a ladder there because I think that's gonna, yeah. Make sure that that deletion is a priority, and I guess we probably want to do the same here. And make sure that that's a priority as well. They're too far from... Okay. Guess we could do that. That should give us this should give us a nice big steady food supply, hopefully. Right, you can go now, and the path can go, and let's do pine trees out across there, and then we'll do, where are you? Maple trees. Do maple trees through there. Make sure none of these are set to be cut. Maple tree there. And maybe we'll do maple trees down there as well. And then up here, we're going to do dandelions all the way through there. Might Might as well do the last little bit. Like that. So that should have that covered. I mean, grapes, we could just plant more of them up there, couldn't we? Just have that be our vineyard. That was a serious firework. We'll do that, I think. So we then need more apple trees. So let's do this level as apple trees. Like that. And then we've got mangroves, chestnut trees. We'll do a whole bunch of those. Like that. And maybe we just do a few more grapes down here on this slope. Like that. Now we are going to need to put in some gathering capability, but we'll worry about that at another point. So I'll let them work on that. That should be good. And I think we quite possibly need to work on more production and storage, I guess. Alright, that. Okay, so too far. How can we get the beavers to that? Let's come down there and along there. So we need to delete you. Come along there. Oh, we have a bad tide approaching. We're going to get to test our new solution. There we go. So hopefully now, yep, we can get to those. You can rip out those. This guy, we're going to put to work planting a whole shed load more mangroves. With the hope that that will improve our mangrove situation. And then that's good. So down here, this guy's got us a load of maple syrup. These guys are full on apples and chestnuts, and these trees are looking very full. So the only thing holding us back from really expanding a lot, and actually it's not, is because we've got quite a lot of water. I was going to say it was water. So what I'm thinking is, one, I'm going to delete this path, but we will recover the components. Also, we've used up all of the branches. Right, which tree type are those from? Because I was getting it wrong, I think. Those are from willow trees. willow trees are the ones we can plant in shallow water. But by the looks of it, we should be looking to plant more of. Now maybe what we do is we clear some of this out and plant some willow trees in here. Or maybe we just need to make another farm. Maybe this would be a good spot for it. We could just break this zip line and put it in here. And actually that would allow us to start creating a complete ring zip line. So how do we enable that, folks? Is the question. And the answer is quite simply, I think. And apologies if this episode seems somewhat disjointed. I'm recording it quite late. Well, late for me. Let's pause for a second. I hadn't really planned what I wanted to do, because I hadn't really planned to record a Timberborn video today. And my head hurts. And those are all of your excuses for today's average quality video. So if we break this connection, we can actually come in about there, which is not ideal, so I'm going to go there, not with them stacked on top of each other, and then add connection, but I want to come over here and check that this is doing its thing, which it is. Awesome. And things are drying out a little bit, but that's a reasonable price to pay, in my opinion, for this not spewing contamination. So if we go in here, hopefully this is all clean now, which is good. Right, now we need to look at what we need to do is open these. And if those are open, is that enough? And it would appear the answer is a negative. So that's coming up from there. So that's one of the bits that feeds this. And honestly, we could just make a channel that deals with that, couldn't we? So it goes into that. Kind of feel like we could do something to make that much neater. This is not quite looking okay. Right. So we need to sort that out. So I think the way to do that is we're going to come along here. Because we want to protect our new farm. They're dead anyway, so vegetation barrier. Yes, there, there, and then we need to rip these out. Like that. And if I extend this path, hopefully that'll be a thing they can do. And then we can replant these. We need to get some gatherers in here. So we'll delete you. We'll delete you. We'll delete you. And we'll delete you. And we'll see what that does for us. This is very clearly overwhelmed. I wonder if it's this constriction here, which we could deal with. But we obviously need to do something with this. And I think what we do is we make a dedicated channel so that when there's bad water, a channel opens up down here. And takes that away. And maybe we link this one in so that we're not spewing it through the map here as well. Alright, anyway, I got distracted there. So, which process? So, making planks, hammers, everything makes use of those. So, we need a reasonable number of willows. This is in, so I think what we do is, I was going to say we don't worry about cutting the trees down, but we've only got 69 logs. So as nice as that is, I think we throw in a couple of lumberjacks to get that cleared. We can delete those now. And the idea will be to put in a big willow farm up here. But yeah, we could do with a bit more from the water dump by the looks of it. More enthusiasm, please, Mr. Water Dumper. And maybe we help them out with, what does the water tank look like? Where's the entrance to it? Bottom level. I mean, they've got water storage so close by because it's there. So that shouldn't be an issue. That has not closed. Okay. That's disabled during a drought, and when a drought starts, it should shut. Maybe that's that's just not enough. Because it's just kind of trickling in and then stopping. Or is it actually flowing out? It is actually flowing out. That is a problem. Okay. So we can fix that. I'm not sure why that didn't work. One of you might have an idea in the comments. Alright, so we need a few more irrigation or contamination barriers. We'll throw those in. But over here, we need gatherer flags. Why are you not planted with anything? There's the chestnut tree. And then over here, we also need gatherer flags. And we need a tapper shack. So that they're not going to get irrigated. So we'll delete you now. Speaking of tapper shacks, we're in the tapper shack. They can cover all of that. They cover all of that. They cover all of that. They cover all of that. So we should be good. You can be paused now. So food-wise, we should be in a pretty good position now. Mangroves is the only one that's questionable once everything's grown in. Apples we have loads of, we're just not picking them? Question mark. Let's get those guys prioritized by haulers. And that guy maybe. And if we look, everyone's getting almost everything that we're making. The only thing we're not making is the fermented fruit. So that has very quickly sorted itself out. Excellent. That needs me to manually swap it over. That's fine. Actually, if we go over here, that all just stays quite a lot of a mess for quite a long time. I mean, the contamination on that drops quite quickly, but the contamination up here stays quite high for quite a long time. So maybe we do it off of the contamination up here. Yeah. And I want to do something with this, obviously. All right, these guys have done their job. You can go, and we need to do some counting again. So from there, that's 10. That's 10. across there. So that's 10. So 1, 2, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So if I put it about there for the first one, I'm just going to draw it round it and then do that. Delete all of those. Give them access with a path. And put back the middle piece. Yes, the other thing we said we were going to do was try and make it a ring. So that's, where's the maximum of that one? There. There. And how far is that to there? 37. So I think we just do one of those guys. And they get to that. Yeah. That'll work. More path needed. But for now, we could loop the path round, couldn't we? That would work. And yeah, I think we definitely want... Oh, it's tricky, isn't it, actually? I think we're going to have to manually control these. Because we want them to open when the contamination... When it's bad down here initially, but we want them to stay open until this is cleared out, so... Yeah. Not everything can be automated, I guess. And that's okay. So the new food farm is in. It would probably make sense. I'm just going to use big words, but I'm not going to pretend that I often use big words like that naturally. So, you know, let's not lie, hey, folks. To throw in, nay, slip in a bunch of storage over here. So, and what you're thinking is, well, he can't get into that, and I'm thinking that too. And I'm just trying to work out how I'm going to enable that, if I'm completely honest. And I'm just wondering if I can do anything sneaky. No, that's not going to work. In terms of having an entrance. And housing's quite good for having entrance. The other thing we could use focus. Here's a hauling post. Which actually might not be a bad idea. Yeah. And then on the back of it, we can just stick a medium warehouse. And then I want to stick a bunch of large warehouses. Or as many as I can put, which is only that many, which is a little disappointing. So maybe we'll use medium warehouses. Or maybe we just put a couple of them next to each other. And the fact that they glow makes me think they're connected, but that doesn't imply connection, does it? I think we have the same problem that we had before. I'm gonna try it. I'm just gonna try building one of them, butt it up next to it, and see if that works. Because it appears like it is. So whether it's meant to or not, I'm not sure, but we need a butt ton more storage, so right. Let's get rid of that. I need to end this video soon as well, actually. Let's focus. Going to prioritize this. I guess if at this point I close these up, that'll just sit stagnant now. Because the clean stuff is going to go straight out through bottom? Question mark. That's very definitely question mark, because I'm not convinced on that. Right. Fluid dump. Re-engage. Path. Unnecessary path can be deleted now. Let's delete some of that. Let's put mangroves in there. We'll make you a supply. We are out of planks, so let's unpause the lumber press. No, the lumber mill. And then water, fluid dump, there, stream gauge, there, path, there. mean, that looks relatively clean now, doesn't it? It certainly is down there, so I think we are safe to do that. Let's make sure that these get prioritized. Because otherwise all the planks will go into the new stuff over here. So these guys... yeah, we're not quite at apples or chestnuts yet. Or maple syrup. But we should be getting there soon. And that will all be going very soon as well. Yeah, right. Attached to stream gauge. Gosh, we are 12 beavers short. Jeez. We do need to do some serious population expansion. But that's one of the reasons that I use this approach, because it means you don't always have to have a beaver in the fluid dump. But then we need a forester. Probably 2 foresters because it'll be quicker that way. Let's make sure that they get built, and then we're going to plant a whole load of willows, which could be in the water if we had lots of the right type of terrain, which we don't. So we are taking this approach. There we go. I'm not going to come down the mountainside with these because I'm a little bit worried about bad water coming up from here. So, but that is going to be it, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, click that like button. Comments, questions, suggestions down below. As I said, the plan is to finish up the Iron Teeth Let's Play, and we will then look at starting a version 1.0 experimental save. On here, we're just going to keep working through the tech tree, exploring the leaf coats, and just trying to build up the colony a bit more. This may not be a very long series, I don't know. It feels like to some extent now we've protected the lake. Things are pretty good. We just need to get ourselves in a more stable position, probably move most of this farming off island now, which obviously we're working on. Once this farm is more properly established, we'll be in a pretty darn good position, I think. So the fancy apples are appling. We don't have any storage for them, which we need to resolve. the fruit salad is fruit salading. So, which again, we do have a lot of fruit salad. So yeah, storage needs to be sorted. Population needs to be sorted. And I think we can start sorting that with one of them. That'll help. Resources needs to be sorted. We are out of logs. We are out of branches. We are out of plonks. Plonks are low. Obviously, getting this big willow forest in will help. We can always go down and cut down trees. And although I feel it's not in the spirit of the faction, once we get bots, they don't get plant murderer. So that's an option. Right. Berry storage, we have a decent amount of dandelion. No. Chestnut storage, we could do with. So let's get some of those in, even though we're yet to have chestnuts appearing here. We're kind of on the grid anyway, so that should be okay. But yeah, that's going to be it for today, folks. I will see you all next time.